S.S.S. Mikeitz Shabbos Chanukah, Tovshin Pei Hey. Very exciting times, beautiful, beautiful Shabbos. And it's a special privilege to come here with the beautiful Chanukah setup here at Bika Cholim of Lakewood. Nothing is ever missed. They never miss a beat. You have here, every table is set beautifully for every night of Chanukah, for Shabbos Chanukah. The only thing we can tell them is Tiskel Mitzvahs. Makes people really, really feel at home over here, and it should be a big schus for everybody. Now we're going to say a beautiful idea from the Nesivos Shalom for Shabbos Chanukah. And the Pasuk tells us, we know that this morning we began laning the Parshas HaNesiim. We lane every single day the karbonos that the Nesiim brought by the Chanukas HaMizbeach. And the Pasuk tells us at the end of Parshas HaNesiim, Zois Chanukas HaMizbeach Acharei Himoshach Oisoi. Translated, this means this is the dedication of the Mizbeach after it was anointed. So the Nesivos Shalom asks the question, why do we speak about a Chanukas HaMizbeach after Acharei Himoshach Oisoi, after the Mizbeach was anointed? Really, with these things, these things would usually work while the avodah was being done. That's when things happen. Why does it say only the Torah specifies Zois Chanukas HaMizbeach Acharei Himoshach Oisoi? After they anointed the Mizbeach, then there was a Chanukas HaMizbeach. So Nesivos Shalom brings a beautiful mashal in order to understand this. A beautiful mashal, and I'll adapt the mashal a little bit to apply more to our times. But he brings a mashal from the Birkas Avraham, who lived the previous generation. But he says like this: you have a person that's walking down a very, very dark road, and the darkness on the road is total. There's no light whatsoever. We've all been to such places, right? Not in the city necessarily. If you go out to the countryside, you go somewhere where there are no street lights. So the darkness is really, really total. There's no light whatsoever. And he doesn't know what to do. He can't find his way down the road. He can't feel his way around. But all of a sudden, he hears a sound, and he sees in the distance, there's a car coming with headlights. The car coming down the road, coming down the highway, or wherever it is, and it's coming down, and its headlights are starting to shine. So what does this person do? He becomes so happy. He becomes so excited that now a car is coming and he's going to have some light. So he begins to sing and to dance and to celebrate, but there's only one very big problem. The car is driving down the road, and it projects a little bit light right now, but what happens to a car? It's a moving car, and it goes by. The car is going to speed right by, and it's going to become pitch dark again. So he was so busy celebrating, he was so busy being happy that there's a car coming, that this person did not take the time, as a smart person would do, that when the car is coming and he shines light for a moment or two, that you should be looking down the road to see that when the car passes, when the car and the light from the car goes away, you'll at least have some idea which direction you should walk, which direction you should go. You should study the road ahead. So the light, that's a temporary light right now, that light that's shining now will help you even when it becomes dark again. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us that when Shabbos is over, everybody knows, when Shabbos is over, what do we say? We say V'hi Noyam. Every Motzei Shabbos, V'hi Noyam, Hashem Alekeinu, right? We say it by Ma'ariv, HaMotzei Shabbos. So too, those that say the Tfilos on Chanukah, right after we light, people sing Mos Tzur, but one of the things that we say is V'hi Noyam. Then afterwards, after Shabbos and after Neiros Chanukah, afterwards we say V'hi Noyam. Normally, V'hi Noyam is said in the Bakasha before we do a mitzvah. You look through the Yehirat signs and the different things that we say before we do a mitzvah the whole year. So before we do the mitzvah, we say V'noyam Hashem Elokeinu U'Maaseh Yadeinu, right? We say the entire tefillah, and then we would do the mitzvah. We do that, we say before Sh'tfir Sa'omer, right? V'noyam, and then a mitzvah. Yet by Shabbos and by Chanukah, we find that we say it after. So the Nesivos Shalom tells us that both by Shabbos and by Chanukah, and of course this Shabbos, tomorrow night's going to be Shabbos and Chanukah, there's a special light that comes on Shabbos, there's a special light that comes on Chanukah that illuminates the neshama of every single year. And yet, as a side note, there's a little difference between Shabbos and Chanukah. Even though there's a light that comes to light up our neshama on Shabbos and Chanukah, on Shabbos, it comes with a very spiritually high light that lights up the neshama. It comes from Shemayim. It's a very, very high light. On Chanukah, that same light is a light from below. We specifically light the menorah below 10 tvachim. So we say, there's different reasons. We're not going to get into both of them now, but Shabbos is a very high light, and the light of Chanukah, where we specifically do it below 10 tvachim, is to show us a lesson that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's there, and He's there for us, and He's lighting our way, even if we're not such perfect people, even if we're not so high right now. We're all the way low, we're below 10 tvachim. But suffice it to say that we say the tefillah of V'hi Noyam Hashem Elokeinu Aleinu, that this light that we got on Shabbos for our neshama, this light that we got and we get and we're getting right now on Chanukah, this light of below 10 Tvachim, this light of Hashem showing us His light, that wherever we are, even if we're low, Hashem is projecting a light on us. This light, we want it to stay with us until the next Chanukah comes. We want it to stay with us until the next Shabbos comes. So we say V'hi Noyam after Ma'ariv on Shabbos. We say V'hi Noyam after the lighting of the Chanukah menorah, because unlike that person who was standing on the side of the road when the car was coming and he got so happy, imagine we would get so happy on Chanukah and all of a sudden Chanukah passes. We're so high on Shabbos, but we're not thinking, what's the Shabbos going to do for the rest of my life? How's Shabbos going to have an effect on me after Shabbos? What am I going to do with the light of Chanukah after Chanukah is over? Otherwise, you're like the person who's standing on the road. Here comes Chanukah, gives you this big dose of light, big dose of Kedusha. But then as we know, time doesn't stop for anybody. The time passes by, and all of a sudden it's after Chanukah. We want that light to stay with us. We don't want to be like that person on the side of the road who celebrates when a temporary light comes, but he doesn't study and look at how the light can help you after it passes, how it can help you after. So we say in the Parshas HaNesiim, Zois Chanukas HaMizbeach Acharei Himoshach Oisoi. We want that light and those hashpois and that influence to stay with us after the Nesiim, after the Chanukah HaMizbeach. We want that Kedusha to stay on when there is a Mishkan, when there is a Beis HaMikdash. The Torah S.S.S. tells us a vart on the Pasuk in Tehillim. Those who say Tehillim, you'll be familiar with this Pasuk. Al Zois Yispalel Kol Chosid Elecha Le'es Mitzoi. This is something that every person who calls themselves a Chosid, this is what you should daven for. The Pasuk tells us, Le'es Mitzoi. It says in Nesivos Shalom, Le'es Mitzoi is referring to Motzoi Shabbosos and Motzoi Yom Tovim. That a smart person, Al Zois Yispalel Kol Chosid, we're mispalel that when it's Motzoi, when it's after the Shabbos, so when it's after the Yom Tov, we are mispalo. What do we mispalo after the Yom Tov? We're mispalo that we should be able to hold on to the lights. We should be able to hold on to what we gained on the Yom Tov, what we got from a Shabbos, what we got from a Chanukah, what we get from every other Yom Tov. And this is really what every one of us has to keep in mind as we go through Chanukah now. We're only holding this year now, we're holding only the second night of Chanukah. Right away, tomorrow night, Shabbos is going to be here, the third night of Chanukah. We still have a whole Chanukah ahead of us. We have to start thinking, this great light of Chanukah is coming our way now. It's going to help us for learning Torah. It can help us with Siyata D'Shmaya in our lives. It can help us grow, help us become closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What are we going to do? Are we going to be conscious? Are we going to be thinking about where it can get us after the light of Chanukah passes? After Chanukah goes by? We don't want to lose everything that we're gaining now. So we want to understand, let's think about now how we're going to hold on to what we gain on Chanukah. Everybody in their own way can make small Kabbalahs, like now I'm feeling inspired a little by Chanukah, a small Kabbalah, something that I'm going to take with myself throughout the year. And then, now, once you do that, you have a chance that the hashbois, we look around and feel the Kedusha, you have a chance that those hashbois should stay with us. The Ner Chanukah, as we mentioned before, the Ner Chanukah is below 10 Tvachim. Nobody should feel that they're out of the game, that they're out of Chanukah, that they're beyond help, that they're beyond what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. No one should ever feel that. Ner Chanukah, we're going to repeat that again, is below 10 Tvachim to show us that the light of Chanukah, you want to take something with you for the whole year, you want to take something going further, the light is there for those who may even be, quote, low at this point. So let's prepare ourselves. Let's think, okay, so now we're past the second night, we're only beginning now, the second day of Chanukah. Let's prepare ourselves. Let's understand, let's not be like that person who has this artificial happiness. He's so happy, but he's not using his brain. He's not thinking, how can I use this light long term? Let's be smart people. Let's prepare this Yom Tov. Let's take the gains that every one of us is going to get from Chanukah, be it in Torah, be it in Yerushalayim, be it in Midas, being in Bein Adam Lamakayim, being in Bein Adam Lachaveroi. It's such a time, every person, if you stop and you look at your menorah and you stop and you realize what a beautiful mitzvah we're doing, every person could be inspired. Every person could get in touch with that feeling that your neshama is getting. The trick is not to have it only be a momentary thing. Zois Chanukas HaMizbeach Acharei Himoshach Oisoi. After V'hinoyam, after Shabbos, V'hinoyam, after the Neros Chanukah, to tell us it's a nice thing to feel the inspiration now, but it's even a better thing and even a bigger thing if we're going to be able to be zoche to take the inspiration of a Shabbos and a Chanukah together, the inspiration of Chanukah, to take it further, to give every one of us an inspiration that will carry us, Yimir Hashem, throughout the entire year.